the base for appreciation, things will be all fine. See, certain children may not come out with the exact result, but they would have put hard work for the process. They would have tried hard, worked hard, spent time. You could see that in all that they, but the end result will not be up to the mark what we have expected. The child being recognized for the process is all about it. So this has to be communicated to the parents. Here the appreciation and the recognition is for the process and for what the child is investing. Whatever that is, the support system the parents are doing, yes, but what the child is investing and the process the child is going through and the child will be recognized for. And if that is instilled in the child, that is what will help the child in the long run, so that the child is not driven by the results. It is not towards always achieving or grade based or performance based. Only if I get this, only if no. What am I doing for this? The whole process. So that is what a child should be, taught with. And if we are sure that this is what we are doing in the school, that can be communicated to the parents as well. Because we cannot fulfill that craving need of parents here in the school, because that is indirectly going to spoil the cake. It's not going to help the parents. And we have to make this very clear with them. If only we are going to always appreciate or do this, we are not doing good to your child. Because in the long run, we want the child to be established with a self-esteem, with a healthy self-concept. Right? If that is, this is all about school, right? When the child has to go, when the child goes out, the child has to go out with a strong self-respect, self-esteem and self-concept. This is not going to be achieved by recognizing the child. This is what the communication I think we have to give it to the parents. Because any appreciation should be for the process and not for the result. Of course, for result recognitions can happen. Good, whatever the recognition that you set, but it should be less value than what you give for your process. So that's where the child gets appreciated first, beyond the results.
Who's the parent and teacher perspective? Are you getting specific strategies for children to work with stress? As both as
Are there any specific tools or strategies that can help children cope with the stress or failures? Yes. What are the easy tools or strategies that we can use in the classroom for the child to handle stress? Easy tool. Easy tool that we can handle. Of course, there is identity concept, there is all those things. But beyond that, what are the stress relieving things that we can do in the classroom and teach the child? Talk about it. Taking deep breaths. Giving attention. Listening to the child and acknowledging their feelings. The child acknowledging, okay. Okay, so the child is very young, very small, thinking hard. Okay. How can you equip the child to handle the stress in any form? See, it is the same strategy that I told you. If the child could be taught to focus on the body, see, what happens is, let me explain a little deeper so that you can have an understanding. Whenever, I don't know if you are practicing mindfulness in the class. Yes. Yeah, you were. Beautiful technique. So what happens is, when, see, biology teachers will be there. I don't have to, they teach, the thing is, if you could, whenever we ask the child to sit quietly, if you could teach this as a practice and, help them to do it at home when they are waking up as a practice in the morning. So one thing that you can teach the child from very young is doing this kind of mindfulness technique, the quiet and technique. your body as such an external thing. And you also ask the child to close the eyes. So another gateway is closed, the information gateway is closed. Definitely you cannot ask the child to close the ears. Of course, silence there. Once it is done, what happens is the brain is not getting a lot of information or impulses. So there will be neural calming down happens. So when neural calming down happens, what happens is actually your thinking brain gets, the required blood supply, neural impulse and neurotransmitters. The vasodilation happens to your thinking part. This is exactly what happens in meditation. The quiet time, the mindfulness, if you sit down. Okay? As you sit down, what happens is, definitely your brain will not rest. It wants to focus on certain things. Immediately it will focus on what is one thing you cannot stop. Breathing and heartbeat you cannot. Your focus, your brain's focus will go on there. That's where you can teach the child, just relax, have a relaxed breathing. They don't know how to take deep breathe, if they are aware of it, well and good. But at least let them have a relaxed breathing. You don't believe what exactly happens in the world. Because you usually take it in very much into meditation, they are taken to an extreme. But scientifically, if you put this down, what happens is, as I said before, you are kicking in for parasympathetic mode, rest mode. So no longer stress hormones is circulation in the body. So there is a settlement down there. So the child can handle things better than the child usually does. So easy stress coping thing is, this is a very easy and this is workable, and if this child gets it, the child knows how to handle it. So you cannot talk about emotional triggers and a lot of other things to the child. But this is a practice. It's a physical kind of an exercise. If you could teach the child and also encourage the parents to include this as a routine in the family before bed and before they prepare up. Because your brain waves will be, the duration can be 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Fine, in classroom you cannot do it for 5 minutes. At least 1 or 2 minutes of this calmness. But when you are waking up, 5 minutes to 10 minutes matters a lot. Continuously they could do a lot of difference that happens. There's a lot of researches, and this is a science behind it. So what happens is, when waking up or before bed, your brain is in alpha waves. Usually what we do is we sit down for quiet time after brushing, after having a coffee. It never works that way. Don't do that. Because you're already kicked in for theta waves. Your brain is on for things. What's next? So when you are that's why I said wake up the child gently and then put the child may doze off, that's okay. Initially the child may sleep off, even you will sleep off in this thing, that's okay, but this becomes a practice. Likewise before bed. This is an easy tool and a strategy I want you to teach to the class and also teach it to the parents, and they can take it as a routine. This is a stress tool that you can easily give to your kids. Very easy.
And the parent actually gave impression to the student that fear of the teacher. That in a different how do we talk that?
Yeah, you have to tell them when you are instilling fear about us, things are not going to work. Because learning happens only with connection. When there is fear, learning will not happen. நீங்க பயம் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க என்ன பார்த்து பயந்தாங்க நான் சொல்லி கொடுத்தது அவங்களுக்கு புரியாது. Make it very clear with them. Whenever they come, whenever they look at us, they should have that longingness to go sit with them, spend time. At least recognize. Usually when a child sees a teacher in the outside school, child wants to run away. School that fear is always there. Right? This is all because of parents. Educate the parents. Whenever you instill fear, you are actually hindering or impeding the learning capacity of the child. give, the good things that you teach about parents, teachers, that is what will enhance the learning thing that happens in the classroom. Otherwise, it will not.
The same goes to you all, yeah. Don't create a fear about me.
That's what I was thinking about that.
See, and that is why the current grade aim is like treating like that. They have not taken even at all because of me.
No, that is just acting.
See, fear in any form is not healthy. Don't take fear in, I'm going to insist, because usually we do it with good intention. We want our child to eat, we want the child to finish homework, we want the child to do routine. So we try to feed with fear. This will not help, because fear is in any form is hurting to the design. How to rectify that? I don't know. Because I don't want to be child to be rectified. See, I don't know. That's what I said. I may be biased with my answer, but I don't find any fault with kids. With all my experience, kids are fantastic. Children cannot find any fault with them, whether they are grown up, 15 or 14 or 16 or 18. They are flawless. They are beautiful, very beautiful. If only we are finding faults with them, it is kind of a mirror that should tell us, it's just a little mirror. When I see some, weakness in my child, I have to look at myself. That's all. But children don't have to be magnified because beautiful. They are by themselves, they are beautiful.
Okay, attention please. Next question. How do I handle parental guilt? Excuse me, please. How do I handle parental guilt, especially when I get angry or say things that I don't entirely mean? How can I handle the real situation? Being a teacher, I apply all the challenges at school and stay completely patient the whole day. But as a parent, when I go back home, I think to tolerate all the standards and pressure. Not me.
See, we are piling up. We are piling up, and we displace it. This is a displacement that we do, we take up, because we cannot speak up here. Okay, this is a different culture as well, okay. Other teachers do have this ventilation option. They get into that C class, that's it, they cracked it down, everything is over. Then they are okay, all good to go out. But here that doesn't happen. I think this is one challenge that you all will face. You hold on with your emotions. First and foremost, the same quote, self-regulate, co-regulate. First of all, be aware of what is triggering you when you are emotionally disturbed. Okay? You don't have to emotionally pile up things. If you are piling up things, you are not handling emotions, you are suppressing emotions. When you are suppressing, when you are bottling up, you will ventilate it whatsoever in different form to anybody for that matter.
Do you think one secure person to talk and then moving on to the next job?
Yes, if you could find a safe person, if you have a safe person to whom you can, share, that's a gift by itself if you have such person. But if you don't, not many times we have such people, whom you can sit and share. That's why you can regulate on your own. But for that, you need to have awareness. But if you choose a person, see there are a few categories, criteria on which you have to choose a person where you can share your emotions. First, they should not judge you. So if you have a mentor or if you have someone to whom you choose, these are the criteria. First, they should not judge you. They should accept you with your weakness. And they should be that person, who could handle that, their emotions and also to take yours. And they should be a person who keeps things confidential. Don't share things with people who, the next minute you go, they go and say to the other person, don't tell me anyone, just don't. Just don't. No. Don't take that person as your, whatever it is. Okay? So accountability or with agreement, you can take that person. Don't take it for granted that there are few people, they always listen. You can easily go approach them and talk, and they'll be receiving. But that person will be burnt out. So don't choose such people. If you are the person who wants to listen up, please don't do it if you are not ready. It's okay to say, sorry, I'm not ready to listen to your story. Okay, maybe some other time. Feel free to say no. Just don't take everyone's emotion, everyone's story in your mind. You are not, if you are not ready, don't take it. Okay, so that is one option. You can share it. Or you bring it, you work on it. So when something happens, whenever you're coming to school, something happens, something triggers up. Okay, take time, take 1 minute or 2 minutes after the class or after. I would recommend this for teachers. Before you enter into class, before you get into class, okay, that 1 minute or 2 minutes, just focus on yourself and see what's your emotion. You always think, am I prepared for the class? Yes. Along with it, also see if you're emotionally prepared. That is very, very crucial, very, very important because you are setting stage for the learning ambience. If your emotion is screwed up or suppressed or water is tightened, then whatever you're going to teach will not flow. See, always get this, this action you remember. Any emotion process will flow out. Any emotion process, it comes to your awareness, you say, okay, okay. Anything processed and comes to awareness, it flows out. Or emotions, it flows out. Anything not processed will stay within yourself and you will see it in yourself. That much, impactful that is. So don't keep any, preaching or anything, whatever that you call it, that little or whatever, process it. So before getting into class, after 10C or getting to 9C, that gap, have that 1 or 2 minutes, just cool down. Just see, okay. I know this was not right. Yeah, that person, what he said was disturbing. Come to that awareness. Okay, that's okay. Let me handle it. Let me sit on it. Just tell your brain I'm going to process it. This is not out of my conscious, I'm processing. So when this happens, then you are already processing. It's not piled up. So when you go home, you're not fully tightened or screwed up. And there you go, unmove yourself and everything comes up. You're ready to get the warmth of your kid. You're ready to give your warmth to your kid and to your family. You'll be ready. So anything processed flows out. Anything not processed stays in and becomes an emotional box. We call it as pain self. Any trigger also. Okay, normal. But you have a bruise or if you have something that when you touch, premium automatic will hurt. Even good thing will hurt if it's not processed. Are you getting me? So come to that awareness level whenever it happens and practice that quick reflection before you get into any class. If that becomes your practice. See, I usually practice this before any counseling session. Like after a counseling session, I don't immediately shift to another counseling session. I at least take break, just cool down, just sit down because I cannot take this emotions to another person because there's a lot of emotion they give place it. So usually how we practice to handle emotion is when they give emotions, we receive it with honor and give the honor place outside. Please don't take it. You are not supposed to take anybody's emotion and mix it with you. No, you are not a place where they come there, receive their emotion, whatever emotion, anger, frustration or sadness or whatever, receive it with care and gentleness and with honor. Place it outside. Maybe you can give a golden seat, but let it sit outside. Okay? So that awareness I have to come before I can take another person because another person is very important. He comes with his own emotions. He comes with his own pain. Just because I wishes as well. I need to be respected. So as teachers, when you are in the classroom, you get so many, things. You are not a garbage bin. You don't think that you can tolerate everything and you are, superwoman. No. Take everything and let it stay out. That's why I said, don't absorb, observe. This is your emotions. You keep it outside. Then, face it. Just another practice and say what it is about it. Is there anything that I have to take away? Or if I'm not going to take anything, is there anything that I have to work on with this emotional load? Because when it comes to the emotional load, you don't know what to work with. What exactly the need of the child is. Because it comes with emotion. So when it stays outside, you can filter out the need. What exactly I have to work on with this class? Take out the need and leave the emotions come. Then you will not get tired. This practice, please do make it as your, intentional practice for a period of time. Then later it becomes a practice. So anytime you meet a person, anytime you get into a class, because by that you are respecting yourself, you are respecting your class, you are respecting the other person. So by doing that, I respect my clients. I am not transferring someone's emotion to them. Okay, so self-respect starts.
How do I handle it if a child likes in class asking?
How do I? Because the child has seen something. It's
Lying. Child is lying.
Lying. Why so wrong? Where's the root? Where did the child learn this? Why on first place the child has to lie? Out of fear. If the child wants to tell the truth, the child is not accepted. The child will be rebuked or whatever it is. So naturally the child has to fake up the story. Only then it's accepted. So understand the connection that they have. That's exactly right. Or the child would have learned it from the family where father or mother used to saying lies, and that is also normal. See, most of the time it's okay if we say, and it's not okay if the child say. The child cannot tolerate this. This contradiction the child cannot handle because the child learns by saying, observing. Father is saying, while the child, father is at home, he's saying, I'm not at home, I'm in the office busy, so I meet pannaanga. Please, the child is well listening to your conversation, and the next day child is giving some thing, and you say to the child, no, koi pesa hai. The child will have that, thought, yesterday need koi so simple. So, either on the behavioral work, they have to work with the root where they learn. And if it is not a learned behavior, why the child is learning? Am I giving in fear with that?
A similar connected person who says, when I'm correcting the child in my sense, it's not like it's good. But sometimes, I'm doing it, I'm doing some mistake, the child, especially on your ordinary, you don't have to avoid doing this.
Yes, you can immediately admit I'm sorry. Yes, I must. Mommy, the situation happened, but I shouldn't have lied. I don't know. I just used this quick fix, but this is not right. Mommy, wrong. Nothing wrong in saying sorry and being real. See, being real requires a lot of courage, but being real makes you, emotionally peace. You don't have to always wear a mask. Just simply admit, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this. The reason why I did this because I had a fear that if I say the truth, the other person will get offended. So this is the whole thing that was going on in my mind. That's why I did it. I think it's wrong. I admit it's wrong. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for telling me. Give the child a hug or appreciate the child for that so that the child feels okay. And you get the freedom of telling the child the next time. The child will receive it well.
Do you think these parents are over-parenting compared to older generations, or is it just a shift in awareness?
Over-parenting, what to say. Because, awareness will not take you for over-parenting in the sense, over-parenting, why I say over-parenting is, there are a lot of parenting sites like helicopter parenting, elephant parenting, tiger parenting, I was super amazed. What is all these parenting there? Because it becomes so POC. Why so much? Because they're all fear driven. So over-parenting happens. We are not fear driven. So that is not an awareness. Awareness is capturing the moments. See, awareness is nothing is going out of your awareness. This is conscious awareness. See, the question asked by, what if the child is having self-harm or suicidal thoughts? So that was completely a dark area. You're not aware of. So parenting with awareness is the healthy way, where you are aware of whatever things are happening. This doesn't mean the child is not making mistakes. This doesn't mean the child is perfect. No. The child will, see, the children have to make mistakes. They should fail. They should make mistakes. They should make attempts. But my accepting and loving presence is what will change that failure, that mistake to be the strength. Success follows in my presence and acceptance. See, what we want is always a performing kid. Doing the no. Children are there to make mess of things. Let them do it. They should learn, and how they will learn is just merely by your presence and accepting them. Otherwise, things are not going to change. Things are not going to change at all. So, parenting with awareness is you know everything that is going on. If there is some changes in your child, you should, capture it. But that doesn't mean immediately you go protect the child. No. It has come to your awareness. Okay, let the child, stay sad or love. Maybe in the evening or when you go for a walk, if you have time, sit with the child and say, so the child knows my mom is watching, my mom is attending to my needs. Nothing is out of her purview. But this is not also giving the child the message that I'm controlling. They are shadowing her mom. Have you seen this? Shadowing parenting. Always be there. What are you watching? They show me your mobile. Why are you there alone sitting? Why are you walking the room? Why do you have? That is not. Just be there. Your presence, your conscious presence. See, this is very important. Please take this into mind. Your conscious presence will heal the wounds of your kid. Your conscious presence. You are consciously present for your kid, right? That presence will change whatever that the child is going through. This your conscious presence has a power to do. Because it is all coming to your notice, you know it, and you find the right time to work on it. See, whatever that I'm sharing is kind of, tried and proven, this will work. This will work. I'm very confident in sharing this because not with one or two, thousands of clients I've worked with this, and this works. Because that's why I keep stressing on this connection, the presence. The thing is, when that relationship happens and the connection is there, wherever extreme the child can go, you can bring back the child. Maybe it requires a little hard work, that's it, but it will work. I can write this down. Okay, so conscious parenting is very, very important. That is the healthy one, not over-parenting. Whatever parenting that you say, right? Gentle parenting, conscious parenting, whatnot. If that is not aligning with this concept of it, that's not it. That will be fear driven. How to handle feelings? Simple. Crush. How to when my child is having crush. Beautiful. Enjoy it. Your child is normal. See, that's what. Whenever people come for counseling, my thing is, the parents, we have to grow with the child. We are stagnated in the 3-year or 4-year or 5-year-old where you say, Ippo is not. Hey, he is 16 now. there is no openness and if the child is not able to share and the child is not feeling comfortable sharing about her or his crush or whatever the mistake that they do, we are building a system of secrecy. Secrets will not help you. That's why you can't.
இந்த teenage crush தான் பரவாயில்ல.
That's why in the LKG girl, where my daughter studied, she has a habit of saying, I love you, mommy. So when she goes out, she says, bye, love you. And this teacher overheard what she was saying, and the parents teacher thinking she is gentle saying, your girl, I heard that she's saying love you to dad and mom. Imagine what if she, she turns into 16 and she says the same word to a boy.
That's why here we all say to our own children in school love you.
See the mentality of the teacher that I was so shocked. I never answered that I don't So as teenagers, if a child is having a crush, don't see it as a threat. That's not a threat. The child is actually having a normal developmental process. Next, if the child is having, questioning you back, if the child is no longer obeying you, normal developmental process. Be happy, the child is in a normal trajectory. And if the child is losing focus with studies, normal. Okay? These are all abnormalities. These are not abnormalities, but this means. See, so don't what is it? No. All these are not abnormalities, these are all normal behavior which needs scaffolding. Yes.
The parent teaches Hitler. They put it up in it's very normal.
What will my parents say then?
See, that is the truth about it. That is the truth. If we are not aware of this, we parents, we react out of fear. We feel like something is going wrong. We are threatened and we are working from fear. What the parent guilt? Because you express your anger. You are angry because you are afraid. The fear thing is kicked, so you respond whatever words, and then you sit with parents' guilt and all that is there. Or you work it out with the child so that the child will not look at the boy anymore. See, one parent who said like, they want to, because the child had a crush in first year college or 12th grade. They took the way you parented the child. Because you should train the child by giving decision-making opportunity from very young age. Choose. You don't give that. And all of a sudden you want a child to, choose a right person. How can the child choose? No, the child cannot choose. So when it comes to parenting the teenager, first we have to come to an understanding. All these are normal, biological, psychological development of the child, which needs scaffolding. In the sense, we saw that prefrontal area is yet to be developed for those teenagers. Only the mid-20s, they are fully, functional, psychologically functional in decision making and other things. So they need scaffolding, and if you are a healthy parent, the child should give you the space to be there. If you have done your job well, the child will give you a space to walk with them in their crush, in their failure, where they feel not focused, they're losing an interest for the studies. Should come and tell it to you, and you both can work it out. Losing focus on studies is natural because hormone shift is there. There will be a lot of things coming up. Just talk about what are the priorities. What do you really want to do? Think about it. Have a conversation. Shifting, getting them back, channelizing things. It's another important thing that you have to learn from adolescent. One thing that you have to remember is once they get the trust on you, adolescents, when they believe that you're safe, you can do magics with them. They will fall for anything. When you have an youngster in your hand who would obey and listen to you by connection, whatever you say, they will not question you. That is the beauty of that age, because they are transitioning. We always say adolescence is a tough time. Adolescence is the easiest phase that we can journey with, because once we build that trust, once we know things are normal and we are there, and the acceptance platform is given, you tell them whatever they do. Because adolescents are so. That's the design. I'm not talking with my experience, but that's the design. They fall for it. They are the strongest weapon in your hand. When you could, get their influence, and you become an influential presence. So I'm the buyer first from adolescents or teenager, or next year my child is going to be teenage 13. Interesting.
In the process, we should expect change in answers.
In the process.
In the process of handling this, we should expect change in answers.
Yes, we have to grow with the kids. The thing is, we get stagnated in a 3-year and 2-year and 4-year-old, and we don't want to grow. We have to grow with it.
The transition takes place by parents. If they have an
Okay, so the last time, one last question kind of summarizes everything. So, yeah, there are two other questions that we need to ask. The two needs are changing. Gen Alpha learners are exploring their identity and much more. How do we truly create an inclusive environment for such learners, where guide them on tackling such challenges, making it become more common going forward? Come again. Student needs are changing. Gen Alpha learners are exploring their identity and much more. So, how do we truly create an inclusive environment for such learners, educate parents and guide them on tackling such challenges that we face with Gen Alpha learners? So, it's a very generic question that summarizes
See, one thing about Gen Alpha is they have all the information that you and me know. Like whatever I know, they know, because on scroll they have all the information. So they come to school or they get they get the help of others, not for information or knowledge. Knowledge is all there, but what they need from us, in what way I am important to them, is what we have to think about. Because I am not an expert in knowledge for them anymore. That is the difference. Because when we were there, if you are not having guide, you are helpless. You are only dependent on the teacher. If only role or who you are in their life apart from knowledge, because generations, past, if you are full of knowledge, that itself makes, qualifies you to be an important person in my life. Your knowledge is enough for me. But no longer I need that. But what else am I going to fill in their life? That answers that question. So I'm not a knowledge expert. Who am I? As a teacher, as a parent. Emotionally supporting, okay?
A leaning shoulder.
A leaning shoulder. As a mom, I can be a leaning shoulder. Okay? As a teacher. Listener. I'm a teacher. Yes, I can listen. What else I can do? Be the driving force. Be the driving force, okay?
What I feel is like they will have a lot of emotion because they are in dire need for emotional connect, which actually is not going to help us with emotional connect. But here we will be able to listen to them, acknowledge their feelings. Emotional connect is something that we all talking about. So that way, I'm sort of feeling emotional connection with that child.
Okay.
You should regulate all the emotions or whatever.
Okay, so emotion
You can regulate.
you can regulate. Just like, can you regulate? You can co-regulate. You can co-regulate. I am regulated and I am associated with you. I can help you regulate. Because I am there for you genuinely. When some things come up, I am there to cross over. Naturally, regulation happens. Co-regulation happens in association with this. What else? We can be the source of trust. Okay. The safe person. Okay. Anything else from that? Why can we, apart from knowledge giver, maybe a master's, sir, how we call it? Some school they call master, some uncle. Sorry.
Teachers are enjoying after you called uncles.
Role models, okay? Yes. Yes, please. Say. This guy. A good guide. Okay. See, actually, all that you said is, good because they need a leaning shoulders, they need an emotional support, they need, a person to regulate. Actually, all that they require apart from knowledge, because taking that knowledge off, you should be the person who can be the source of motivation for them to do whatever that they do. Not as an external validation. You're not there as an external validation because motivation is something, you are the source of motivation where you instill intrinsic motivation in them. It's different from being an external validator. I always give you, support. You come to me, oh, good, very good, No. You are the person, you are the source of motivation where this thing cannot get from anywhere. For any generations to come. Because they need an individual human being to do this. The social connection, the emotional support, all that adding together, what we are doing, what is the role that you are pitching in is, we are becoming the change makers, okay? The source of motivation. When they come to us, what they get is, they get their identity settled. You should be the people where when their identity is settled by a significant person, that's where, by a person, then that person becomes significant in their life. Whoever establishes identity, that's why when a peer, a friend, acknowledges him or accepts him, he becomes an influencer in their life. Peer influence happens because another friend accepts him, calls out his identity. That's where it is. So you should be the person where you accept the person, okay, and you be the source of motivation in the way that you establish the identity. See, say that you have everything that you require and need to flourish in this world. You don't lack anything. So when this identity is get settled through you, this activity cannot be. Because it needs a human to validate with that emotions and this connection. With an acceptance when I say in the weakness, especially when you can do this when the child fails. When the child does a mistake. When the child feels rejected. That's when if you could hold the child and stand and look to the eyes and say, you have everything that that you require to flourish, you become the significant person. That person is what the children are in search of. Knowingly or unknowingly. They carry the bag, they come, they're not coming here for books and reads and the knowledge that they get. They want this to happen. When that identity is settled, knowledge, after that, whatever you say will become very important. They learn from it. Learning happens, transaction happens. Anything and everything will change. So the answer for this question is, it can be any generation for that matter, especially given this alpha generation where knowledge is too much, overloaded. This cannot be replaced. I cannot be replaced whatsoever because I am the source of motivation which they cannot get it from anywhere. Being a teacher, beautiful. You're already placed in that position. So if you are coming here with different assumptions and suppositions and labeling and entitlement, you are shattering that to the core. You are shattering the identity. Actually, as teachers, you are bringing out to society man and woman, mom and dad, leaders, and whatever CEOs or whatever the roles that are going to take up in the thing, husband, wife, you are bringing out. You are calling them out of a little boy, of a little girl. This is all that you have. This makes the learning happen. This is the influence that you have. Any other questions? Any unanswered questions? Anything that you wrote apart from this that not touched?
Can I ask one thing to ask? Can I do we have Gen Z parent here? One parent is enough for me here. Gen Z parent. Parent. You don't have Gen Z parents?
Gen Z parents, 1997 approximately. 1997.
Okay, who's at least millennial here? Okay, then who else?
95.
At least millennial. The last. Sheila. Okay, so now, as parent, as this generation parent, yeah, Hari also I think had to contribute. Okay, so what challenges do you have when you wanted to, communicate the challenges that you face with the world, grooming up your child and your parents? You have your parents, they have a very different ideology. You have your children, they are growing up in a very different world, and you have your peers, you have your own ideology. So, among these three, what is the challenge that you face, and what are you trying to balance? This is not everybody actually, but the latest one, yeah, Hari, I'm waiting to hear from you. This will be helpful for many years. Come on. So tell me, do you even have a challenge? A lot, right? Then why not come with one? One major challenge that you have as parents. Yes, Dina.
Yes, sir. I think the mindset shift then, it's very different.
to be a parent, for us to reach up to like not talk the same way I talk to my child, to my parents. It is entirely a different.
How do you do that? It is entirely different. We know that, but how do you do that?
We
Do
need
you
to
even
understand.
do you even do that? Do you even get it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to understand their point of view in the first place, and then work on it. You know, like we have to shift ourselves to.
No, see, shifting ourselves is actually easy. Okay, shifting them to the child level is very difficult. How do you do that? Do you even give it a try or you just avoid them?
We try our best to be the bridge sometimes
Why do you have to build the bridge?
for a better, you know, understanding of having it in the same place.
So, is there anybody else who have to add points? Yeah, yes, Priya. So, how do you handle? The simplest of all, you handle. There are many more to come. So, how do you set the platform for your parents to accept the thing that's going to come up? Do you do that? So, you know why I'm making this come out? So, as teachers, we all are supposed to convey this to our parents, to how they are supposed to build a platform for their in family to welcome the upcoming child, welcome our own children into their family the way they are. We have that big challenge. You all agree with me? Our children, the current generation are going to be very different. The current generation, what we see with Alpha is another one more stuff, and the Gen Z, what we are, all our teenagers are another one more. It is so difficult. I mean, we are, as Remima said, we are trying our level best to actually, understand our own children, our own, student grade. But are we educating our parents to get ready with their students and how they create a platform among their family? Because these students are most of the time not finding difficult with their parents. They are finding it difficult with their family as such. The extended family. Parents are fine. Parents understand. But the problem the student faces, the extended family. That circle. How do we coach our parents? That's a challenge for us. So we need to exist there. So think on those lines. I think all the English that we got from Jemima, everything connected to our own life experience and all of that should actually help us to coach our parents. Parents are influencing, extended families are influencing our children. That's it from me. Anything that we need to talk? That's it. Thank you.